Hi, this is Jan with Jan's Jewelry Supplies. Welcome to another soldering video. Today we're going to be making these spiral earrings. I saw these earrings on Pinterest, and these were done by farfetch.com, and I thought I'd make a similar version of these earrings. Before I started this video, I had made a pair of these in crystal. Today I'm going to be doing them in rainbow colors. The closer together you get the rows of stones, the more stable the piece is going to be, but I do like the open look, but you could do them to where each row is actually soldered together. I've already rolled out my Play-Doh, and I'm going to begin by laying out the smallest rhinestones first. Those will go in the center. And I'm just going to make a little bit of a loop in the center. I'm just laying out the stones from the smallest to the largest, and when I get to the very end, I'm going to have the two rows touch. That will be the very top of the earring, and soldering them together at the top will give it a little more security. And I'm going to take the heat gun and go ahead and start heating up the piece and soldering it together. And you want to get as much solder on as you can in between each of the stones. On a piece like this, it's crucial to get quite a bit of solder without it being bulky on the back. I'm just working my way all the way around the piece. When I get to the end, I'm going to solder the two rhinestones together to connect the two rows and give it a little more security. I finished soldering the rhinestones for the one earring, and I'm going to use it to give me some guidelines as to how I need to set the stones in the Play-Doh for the other side. Basically, we want it to be a mirror image. So when you set it in the Play-Doh, you're going to want to do the back side. Now that I have some faint impressions in the Play-Doh, I'm going to begin setting the stones. Every now and then I will pick up the first piece and place it over the one I'm working on to make sure that the stones are where they need to be, and I will adjust any if I feel like it needs to be adjusted. I want it to be a mirror image of the first piece. Now that I have all the stones laid out, I'm going to do a final check to make sure that all the rows match up to the rows on the original piece. If all looks good, I will go ahead and begin to solder, starting in the center and working my way around to the top. Now that this piece is finished, I'm going to go ahead and leave it in the Play-Doh and add some solder at the top where I plan on placing the ear clip. I want to get down a good amount of solder to make sure it holds this large earring. I'm using a third hand, or also called a helping hand, to hold the ear clip in place while I solder. I am using the center of the piece to line up the ear clip to make sure it's on there straight. Once I have it positioned, I will begin to heat it up, and I will also use my pliers to push down a little bit to make sure it gets a good connection to the solder while I'm heating it up. Once I'm finished with this ear clip, I am just going to turn the Play-Doh over and put the other piece in the solder and do the same thing. To make the ear clip portion a little more secure, I am adding just a little more solder around the edge of the pad of the ear clip. I did not reinforce these earrings, but I'm going to give you a small example of what you can do to reinforce the earrings. This is just a smaller piece that is a similar shape that I've already soldered together. And I am just going to take some solder and run it down the back. I'm going to go fairly heavy with the solder. I'm just going to run it all across the back. Basically, I'm drawing a heavy line through the shape. Once I've applied the solder, I'm going to lay some chain over the solder. This is a snake chain, a cobra chain, that's very fine and very flexible to where it don't make that curve. Now I'm going to begin reheating the solder so that it sticks to the chain. If you're going to reinforce your piece, make sure that you don't put the chain where your ear clip is going to be. If you do, you will not get your ear clip on there straight. This piece is not going to have an ear clip. I am going to go ahead and bring the chain almost to the very end. To add even more security, you can go back over the chain with more solder, get it on top of the chain and have it melt down around the edge of the chain. Well, I've cleaned up the ear clips with a little soap and water, and here they are, the finished pieces, along with a small piece that I reinforced. If you were doing them on these ear clips, you would go from basically the ear clip area all the way to the center to reinforce this piece. And this piece is very solid. And you can see that there's a little bit of flexibility on these that I have not reinforced. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.